Okay, let's talk about waste. And have you ever really thought about what happens after you toss something in the bin? When you throw it away? We're about to dive into the whole world of waste management, but not as some boring chore. We're going to look at it as a system that could, honestly, change the future of our planet.
So let's just start with one number, 1.5. What is that? Well, that is how many Earths we, all of humanity, are currently using to get our resources and to deal with all our waste. Yeah, we are quite literally living on borrowed time from a planet that can't keep up.
You might be wondering, how do you even calculate something like that? Well, it's a concept called our ecological footprint. Think of it like this. It's the official scorecard for how much we demand from nature. And right now, the numbers are pretty clear. Our demand is way, way bigger than what the Earth can regenerate. We're running a global overdraft, and that's just not sustainable. And that's what this first part is all about. Our planet is in overdraft. But this isn't just about us using too much stuff. It's really a symptom of a much, much deeper problem in how we even think about our resources and what we call waste. It really boils down to this one simple question we almost never stop to ask ourselves. When you throw something away, where is away? Where does it actually go? Because let's be real, on a planet with finite space, the whole idea of away is just, well, it's an illusion.
The real root of the problem is that our entire modern world, for the most part, is built on what's called an open-loop system. It's totally linear. We take resources, we make something, and then we just dispose of it. It's a one-way street that's designed for waste to pile up and resources to run out. The alternative? A closed-loop system. This is where things get interesting. It's cyclical. It's all about recycling and reusing, where the waste from one thing becomes a resource for something else. It's sustainable, and honestly, it's just a whole lot smarter.
So if we're going to fix this broken system, we first have to tackle this fundamental illusion, this myth of away.
And here it is. This one idea, this one quote changes absolutely everything. Waste is not waste. It is merely a misplaced resource. Just let that sink in for a second. That is the huge paradigm shift. If we can really truly get our heads around this, then everything about how we manage our world has to change.
Because look, this isn't just some clever saying, right? It has incredibly real, practical applications. It's a whole philosophy that proves waste isn't actually waste at all.
So, how do we actually do this? How do we put this into practice? Well, it's not magic. It's a very deliberate strategy. And it all starts with the single most important step, separating waste at the source, right in our own homes. From there, it's a pretty logical process: collection, sorting, and then the crucial last step, finding markets where we can sell these newly defined resources.
And listen, this isn't just some pie-in-the-sky theory. Amrita University's campus is a perfect real-world example of this in action. They put this exact strategy to work, starting with a super clear 4-bin system for every single person. It made separating waste at the source practical and just easy for everyone to get on board with.
And the results? They were incredible. Beyond just having a clean campus, they created real, tangible value. They grew organic gardens from their own compost, they protected the local environment, and they built successful recycling programs for all sorts of materials. They basically proved that a closed-loop system creates positive things, not just fewer bad ones.
This success story is so important because it shows us what's actually possible. It gives us a blueprint for how we can scale this whole idea up, for truly closing the loop on all kinds of waste.
The main idea here is simple, but it is so powerful. Use each type of waste for its highest value application first. That is the absolute key to making a closed-loop system work. It's not just about recycling. It's about creating what you could call a hierarchy of value. Before we do anything with a so-called misplaced resource, we have to ask, what is the best possible thing this could become next?
So, let's take organic waste, for example. Composting is great, right? But what if there's a higher value use? What if you feed it to animals first? You could get milk and eggs, which extracts way more value from that resource before its nutrients eventually go back into the soil as compost. See how that works? And this same exact logic applies even to something really tricky, like plastic. The #1 priority should always be to reuse it. If not, then you recycle it. And only as a last resort, after you've exhausted all those other higher value options, do you think about converting it to fuel.
And you see this pattern again and again.
Take dry biomass, like leaves and garden clippings. Using it as animal feed or mulch for a farm is so much more valuable than just burning it for a quick bit of energy. It's a consistent, logical system that just squeezes the maximum value out of everything, at every single step.
So this entire systems approach really reveals this hierarchy of value. We've been talking about huge global problems and big campus-wide solutions. But this is where it all comes full circle, right back to us. After you understand the system, you're kind of left with this really powerful thought. I am responsible for the damage and for bringing change. And that one idea, that shifts everything. It turns a faceless global problem into something that's about our own personal accountability and our own power. And that sense of responsibility leaves us with one last, very personal question. The next time you go to throw something away, just pause for a second. Take a look. What's actually in your bin? And based on this whole hierarchy of value, where could it really go next?